The following is a fan-based discussion and is owned by Toei Inc. and Bandai. We claim no ownership to the shows we are discussing and is based on pure opinion.
So, we need a third and Jacob's not here.
I'm sorry, he has rehearsal. I don't know, I mean, we can do Who Would Win without a judge. We did it before, didn't we?
Yeah, but look how well that happened last time.
Fair enough. I mean, it's not like someone's just gonna, knock on the door. Are you expecting company? No. You didn't get up because this is your house? Hi.
Hi, I'm the drama chick. I'm your neighbor.
Hold on. Do you have any choice? No. You sure?
Yeah.
Welcome to TokuCast! Hey everybody, welcome to TokuCast. This week we're doing another Who Would Win, and we have a special guest with us today. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Alright. Ohayo gozaimasu. Konnichiwa and konbanwa, depending where you are in the world, what time zone you're in. I'm the drama chick, and as the opening skit suggested, yes, we do live in the same neighborhood. It is so bizarre.
And so we decided we're going to do a couple collab videos with her. We have one on her channel, and here's her on ours. So this week we're doing a fan suggestion of a Who Would Win, and we'll put the comment right about here. So Shinkenger versus Hurricanger. These two Sentais, ninjas versus samurai. I will be arguing for Shinkenger because I love samurai to death.
I'll be arguing.
Look,
I was trying to do Power Ranger. It didn't work out. I'll be arguing for Hurricanger this time around.
Because you love ninjas.
I do. Except the last ones. They were terrible.
And ironically, I am actually a fan of both of these shows, so I am actually going to be a decent judge.
Well, I'm a fan of both of them too, but I got to argue that they'll win in a fight. That's where my challenge is.
Yep.
So, we usually start with opening arguments. Why don't you go first?
Yeah,
you can go.
I went first last time.
Did you?
Gentlemen
Yes.
and gentlemen, we're going to have to do this with the most sensible way. Rock, paper, scissors, go!
It's true.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Yes!
Alright. Samurai Sentai Shinkenger.
That's how they do it in court.
Hell yeah.
Sorry, I was just remembering one of the podcast we watched with the word flub. Objection! You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay, go ahead.
Alright.
Samurai Sentai Shinkenger. One thing they definitely have going for them is that they are a great team. They have a very strong leader whom they will follow to the ends of the earth. And they have proven that in their show time and time again. They have great weapons. They have sentient Zords that they can use, even if it's not a Megazord fight, because they have little tiny versions. They will help in some way, I'm sure. They always do. Multiple weapons for each of them, and also multiple power-ups that can be shared among them. So I think they are a powerhouse that can fight the ninjas that actually do hide.
They do hide, very much so. Now, for Hurricanger, they do end up having a very, very big arsenal. There's more than one team with this one. We have the Hurricangers themselves, the Go Riders, and, Shurikanger by himself. But, I mean, come on, he's basically like 7,000 people, including Kenji Oba, so that automatically makes him overpowered. Their weaponry is very, very large. They have, the bevy of ninja skills and tricks that they end up doing. They can hide in plain sight. They can hear you from very far away with their
very giant ears.
With this giant ear thing. But
outside their helmets.
They're very, very balanced in their teams. I mean, they end up having the powers of fire, earth, water, lightning, and thunder. And
who has the power of fire?
Well, I guess
air.
I forgot. It's a little bit different this time around.
Air,
the power of
air, water, earth, lightning,
and baseball.
And baseball.
And baseball.
And baseball with Hurricanger.
I have one question for you.
Okay.
In what time period are we putting this in? Because after a certain point, Hurricanger is a child. Is a legitimate child. That is the person of the mask is a child.
Is he though?
Yes.
But he's still
the 10 years after movie. He became a child.
We'll put this before that.
Fine.
At that point, he's still Kenji Oba.
Yeah.
They also end up having a range weapon because the swords that they end up having that they use them to transform can be turned into a gun.
With the sheath.
Yes, and I believe that only one of the Shurikangers end up having a range weapon.
If you want to be technical, too.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have
3.
Not to mention the fact that since they are ninjas, they're very, very good at disappearing at any time that they're struck. They could turn into logs or, I guess, like a hay figure or straw figure of themselves. They're very fast, very agile, and their teamwork is sort of out of bounds as they ended up going, towards the shaft to go. Right just ended up joining them, and after Hurricanger ended up joining them, their team attacks are very, very powerful.
Their team attacks are very powerful, yes, but it took a lot longer for them to make said teamwork work. I'm going to let the redundance there just say for itself. The Shinkengers were a team from moment one because Red is their leader, bar none. He's the lord and they are the servants. Gold has been a friend with them since childhood, and Gold is, by the way, extremely fast. He may not have the same variety. They also have a lot more variety than you have. You have your swords, you have your stabs, and your guns. But let's see. They all have their individual katanas, which have different discs that can give them different abilities. Red has his Daizento, which is a bigger sword that can turn into a cannon, because, bitches love cannons.
It's true.
You have Blue's water arrow, which is a ranged weapon. You have the Heaven Fan, which can kind of qualify as a ranged weapon, because it doesn't have to be so close. You have the Wood Spear, which, again, a reach weapon, so it may not be a range of a blaster, but it has reach. And you have the Land Lancer, which is a shuriken. That's a ranged weapon. They also have the Bull Blaster, I don't know what it's actually called, the Secret Loading Gun Mogyu Bazooka, which is another ranged weapon, if you want to pull that out. They have multiple power-ups that can be shared between them. I don't think Hurricanger got a power-up their show.
They didn't need one in this show.
But when you have this, I don't know I can't remember what it's called.
But you gotta remember, power only ends up going but so far. We end up having speed, like the Hurricangers do on their side.
Yeah, but the power-ups that we get also enhance speed, and also I have a shark sword that is straight out of Bleach with Renji Ibarai.
We're not gonna talk about Bleach, it's now known as detergent.
He's never liked Bleach, but anyway.
I must give a few extra points for that comeback. That was beautiful. Applause given.
Thank you.
But the shark sword is still extremely powerful, and when Red can use that, somebody else can have the only way to call it is the Super Samurai form, which enhances all of their skills. So, yes, you have, I guess, a very select skill set that I can
Select? Let's go ahead and get into that. Let's just go ahead and get into Red right off the bat.
We can kind of get into this all day.
Yes. He ends up having his Hurricane, the Hurricane Hawk, which he can go ahead and use that as a firing weapon. Not to mention the fact that he can fly because he is the ninja of air. They end up having that hang glider, which is very hard to hit. I don't care how fast your shark sword can get. It's not.
How often do they use that hang glider, though?
They end up using the hang glider and they end up using the thing on the cloth where they can basically like a giant kite in the sky. The fact that they can end up hiding makes this a lot harder. Like I said, he can actually fly. Hurricane Red is the one of the ninja of air, where he can either glide or fly through the air.
I was about to say, is he fly or levitating?
It's sort of a mixture of both, where he can actually go up and fly through the air and things like that. The amount of slashes that they can do are probably going to end up being comparable to Shinkenger Gold's, with his EI, when he constantly ends up sheathing and unsheathing his sword. The Karakuri Mantle, which...
I'm sorry, but Gold has lightning fast speed, where by the time he sheathes and unsheathes it, you've already lost your head.
Has he, though?
Yeah.
I mean, how often does he end up using that during the actual show? He seems like he ends up losing that ability.
Yeah, but same can be said for some of your extra Rangers. How often do they use because there's, the guitar? There's the baseball. I'm sorry, you're a bona fide, what is it called? Kabuki Theater Sentai, which aren't really known for their offensive capabilities.
How are they not known for the offensive capabilities?
I was talking about Kabuki.
Oh.
Because, this is so intimidating. A Sanjo!
I mean, have you ever seen that happen in your face? Right.
Yes, you. When we lived together in college. And I'm sorry, just because you have a megaphone does not make you powerful. Because Blue's individual weapon is a megaphone. Buddy, 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 buddy. Not intimidating. Not powerful. And what, Yellow gets a hammer?
Yellow gets a hammer that can shake the ground.
Okay. I have the power of Earth. I have the power...
So does he!
Let me fucking finish, because I actually have the power of fire. I have the power of wind. I have the power of water, earth, and wood, and gold. I don't know what... Technology. That's
he has the power of light.
That's right, light. And
Shiny. He has power of chrome shininess.
He basically
that is his
does.
power.
he also does make his own Zord. So he made his own Morpher. He's very fucking smart. And they have proved time and time again about their ability to adapt in combat.
You don't think the Ninja... well, sorry, not the Ninja. We did that last time. You don't think the Hurricangers can? Let's go ahead and go into Blue really quickly. Like you said, they both have the power of water, but Blue ends up having more of an explicit power over water. She can actually create it from the air. I guess she can end up creating bubbles because she has done that multiple times in Hurricanger. She can... I guess if you want to end up getting trapped in that thing, she can end up drowning you. What is with that look?
I have magic. I have kanji magic, if you recall.
I'm about to say, it was like, this isn't a ninja. What the hell are you talking about? They have ninpu, which is basically ninja magic.
Yes, but the power over kanji to make real whatever they write with their pens. I'm sorry, it was underutilized in show, both of them, both including Saban's excuse of terrible. But
let's all take a minute and regret that. But getting back to this.
Yeah, if you want to put that into your consideration, that is your choice as judge. I would also like to point out that they have a very smart mentor.
Are we really going to bring in the mentors to this when they don't have anything to do with the actual Rangers themselves?
Well, in our case, it helps. The mentor helped build them as characters, but yours is a guinea pig. But that is neither here nor there.
Okay.
Oh, also, Red has the double disc, which gives him 2 giant swords, which makes him double bleach.
You keep forgetting that they're still ninjas, and they also have some of the powers of the Kaku Rangers, like the same cloning ability that they have used in the show. Yeah. So the fact that they do end up having a cloning ability of themselves, and they can end up making multiple copies of themselves, which they can end up using, multiple copies of the weapons and other powers that might end up.
How often was that utilized in show? Because as we've done in previous videos of this,
it was about 3 times.
That they're doing to the scale that you're talking about. Like we're talking O's movies where he made copies of all of them.
That's a whole different scale, and you know it. All right. Yes. Do you have any questions for us?
Yes, we've been kind of going on.
Yes. First question is actually for you.
Please.
Because as you said, the other Rangers are the Red Ranger's servants.
They are.
It is a kind... That could, too...
That's how their relationship started. But as their show went on, they grew to be not only lord and... What are they called? Vassal, but also friends. And not to mention, Red and Gold are childhood friends.
But it's more of, and the point could also be made on your show as well, is it a choice that they ended up with, or was it something they were kind of stuck into?
It was something stuck into is a wrong word, because it's something they've known they've had to do their entire lives.
Yeah.
So they've had time to get used to it. But not only that, even when they were having issues, like there was one episode in Shinkenger where Blue, who does kabuki theater,
Great episode.
was missing a performance, but the other Rangers were there to consult him through it and remember that. But if you don't do this, there won't be kabuki theater left to do, and it helped them grow together. And my point of that is that when Red gives an order, they will not question it, as opposed to your team who like to question each other a lot.
Yes, because they're all on the same level. They end up having a lot more free will with the things.
Yes, they have. Doing. Red will put the opinions of his other. Let me rephrase that. Shinken Red will put the opinions of his other teammates into consideration when making his strategies, but there's never been any infighting. Your Rangers have.
You're thinking a lot more in terms of the actual show. As you said, we are still doing after the show itself, but before the 10 years after. Do you remember how good of a team that they were in Gokaiger when they came back for those 2 episodes? Where they beat the hell out of the Gokaigers and took their powers back.
Gokaigers were, I guess the only word I can think of is green. They were novices at fighting Sentais. So, but
they beat Marvelous.
Okay.
They beat Marvelous. He beat Bosco by himself.
What did he have to do that? He had to stab... Bosco is going to kick his ass.
Nope, but we're talking about this.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes, we are.
I'm talking about this is... Okay, that you're claiming that they're so powerful they can beat Gokai Red, but Gokai Red is not that hard to beat if he's only in his Gokaiger form. That is my argument. You have technically 2 Reds who do like to butt heads every now and then. You have a mismatch of people. You have a 6 Ranger who shows up when he feels like it.
Yes, as most 6 Rangers ended up doing at the time. Do you not remember Gal Silver?
Yeah, Gal Silver was different because of the character of Gal Silver, where he was a villain first, and he's that.
Well,
but anyway,
we're not on that one.
Yes.
You have a Six Ranger who shows up when he damn well feels like it,
or when he's told to. He does have someone who's over him, who, although he is told to end up helping the Hurricangers, he does have other things to do to end up stopping the villains a lot more behind the scenes, at least the villains of this show who aren't Lothor.
My point is that if it could be very well likely that this would be a 6 versus 5 as opposed to a 6 versus 6 if he's busy.
But anytime that the Hurricangers, or I guess the Go Riders, are in trouble, he's going to end up showing up. He's always watching over them. If they need any help, he's going to end up showing up at some point.
But okay,
either as someone.
We are digressing. You
Yes.
have questions. Sorry.
Yes, and that was the one for you. And for you,
Yes.
I actually have a question on the Zords of yours.
We're not going to end up focusing on that.
We don't usually, when we're doing Sentais, Zords aren't included.
Yeah.
Because we'll leave Zords for their own episode.
Okay, never mind then. Digress. This is my first rodeo here.
This is only our 3rd episode of this, so we're still figuring some stuff out.
Alright, so that's for that. Alright, then, as he said, the mishmash of teams. Do you think that your characters had better development because they had started out separately and then came together?
Yes, they had to. They ended up having to learn how to work as a team. With the Go Riders especially, because they were the ones who ended up fighting the Hurricangers at the very beginning. I can't remember exactly what the name of the evil organization was, but they did end up having to learn how to end up working with the Hurricangers and later on Hurricanger as he ended up coming in.
I would like to point out that after the events of your show, the entire team split apart to do their own things. They're out of practice. I can't remember which one was it, Crimson or Navy. One became a total douche.
He was a total douche throughout the show.
Yeah.
My point though.
He was... It's like, there's nothing different there.
One joined a boy band. One became a pop idol. One became a family man. Red did something.
Red became an evil dark ninja.
For fake reasons, but we're talking 10 years.
This
is the 10 years after, the 10 years later movie. But my point is, they went off to do their own things, so they could be out of practice of their ninpo. These guys have been training every day for their entire lives, and were training still afterwards.
As you saw in the 10 Years After movie, they didn't stop training exactly.
Blue and yellow, kind of.
I mean, well,
blue, yellow, and I think navy, kind of. And that's half, right there. And I don't know what the fuck Crimson was doing, but
being the best.
This has been this is a family thing. So even when they can't do it, there is someone else who can do it with them or for them, as shown when another red shows up.
Yeah.
In Power Ranger Samurai, Yellow wasn't supposed to be the Yellow Ranger, with somebody else. There are other Shinkengers that technically exist. So if you want to count all the Shinkengers, I have numbers.
So, like I said with the cloning, so do I.
Yes.
But on to your next question.
All right,
Sorry.
And piggybacking off the character development with yours, how they kind of started off vassals and growing into friends.
Which shows great when the other red showed up. They worked with her, but they worked better with him because they developed this relationship with him. So it just shows how well they've come together. So I think the fact that they were able to start off in this position, yes, kind of forced upon each other.
Yeah.
It did, but it helped to make them grow, as opposed to somebody who used to be their villains.
But then they end up having to learn to overcome their differences.
There is one more thing in that, because yours also has a whole group of people who do the awesome banners before all their fights, and the wonderful, wonderful.
But they don't fight.
They do not.
Except that one time it was decade.
So the thing is, you have.
Why did you remind me of that? Where it was decades. Sorry,
because he wanted to see the look of pain on your face. A look of pain that
DN showing up stealing the what was it
the Ika.
The Ikazor, yeah.
All right, but piggybacking on that, doesn't that make your show having a lot of superfluous characters who don't really do anything except making the really fun banners and then leave as soon as the fight starts?
You gotta remember.
I mean, who do you think is making all their goddamn umbrellas and stuff?
Them. When is anyone else showing up in that show that says that they don't?
And when has anyone else that showed this is that they do?
We can only end up
assuming.
assuming.
It is kind of the thing. Theirs is a little more ambiguous on who's doing what. Yours is kind of obvious, so...
That's traditional... The entire point of the show is to go off traditional Japan lore, where Red is a lord, and lords have servants.
Servants, yes. But it is just kind of... Doesn't it seem like wasted potential, especially with all the dumb putzes that are thrown at them, having those ones under the vassals do it, so the main...
That is a problem with the show, yes, but that does not pertain to a fight with the Shinkengers versus the Hurricangers.
Because, I mean, they could be a factor if they were allowed to fight, that's what I mean.
If they were allowed to fight, it could be a factor. But I don't think any of them are trained in combat.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
Yeah, that's kind of what I see.
But their mentors are.
Their mentors are.
And your mentor's a guinea pig. I'm sorry.
It's not. You didn't watch all the Hurricaners. He's not a guinea pig.
Not anymore, but I just want to bring
he
that...
chose to be able to become one. He just likes to be that way half of the time. And in Ninja Storm, that was just a thing that...
I'm sorry, I wouldn't trust a guy who would choose to be...
He's insane, yeah, but he's also an incredibly powerful ninja. So, you gotta remember, when he can stay that way for how long that he wants to...
With his daughter yelling at him. And still remains a guinea pig.
His daughter. I did forget about her.
Yes.
You mean Madam Fourth Wall Breaking?
You mean Madam Best Character?
Yeah.
She's extremely smart, and she made all of their stuff. Who knows? I mean, she doesn't always end up needing a whole bunch of time to make anything.
She doesn't, but mainly what she's used for is new Zords and new weapons. She's not making a new weapon. Because... Not for this.
Okay, question for both of you. I want you to think long and hard about this. Most powerful attack, and could the other side counter it? That your group has. There's a reason I said think hard about this one, because
yes,
that would be a huge... If there really was a fight, that would probably be a deciding factor right there.
What is your most powerful attack?
They technically have two. Because...
Oh, that's right, they have all the weapons that can combine.
They have all the weapons that can combine, and Shurikenger also has his... when he takes off the weight and turns the thing around, he's becoming extremely fast as well. Not to mention the fact that... Best character. But not to mention the fact that the Go Riders also have their staffs that can turn into a throwable weapon, a staff, or a shield. You don't really have a shield of anything.
I have two giant swords.
You have a sword, yeah.
It's a sword the size of a person.
But you don't have an actual shield.
I have a sword the size of a person that has been used to block projectiles before in show. And then the sword can then become a cannon using multiple discs. Then there's the... I don't know what it's called again. The bull cannon, which is another finisher. And trying to remember what Gold's finisher was. Because he didn't really have any big weapons other than his sword.
Yeah, the little...
He just gave... It was just all the slashes, really.
Yeah, multiple slashes, so...
But it would have to be him versus Hurricanger at that point, because once he takes that weight off, he's not just fast with a sword, he's also fast as a person.
So is Gold.
And Gold isn't the fastest one out of all of them. He can end up withdrawing his sword really fast, but he's not the fastest as of the characters themselves.
In Suit, he seems to be the fastest character from the fact that he literally flashes through the minions during his introduction.
He doesn't really flash through them.
You know what I mean.
He ends up sheathing and unsheathing his sword. So, I mean, yes, as he said, he has a very fast movement. But you also got to remember that Shurikenger can turn his sword into the bat, and he ends up doing...
And Gold can blind him. Power of light. I'm sorry, he can't hit him if you don't know where he is.
You say the same thing about Gold and Shurikenger himself. He's still a ninja. He has the secret hitting 1,000 knock, where he ends up hitting you with 1,000 baseballs.
My point is that if Gold blinds him, he doesn't know.
That's something that he has to do at the very beginning of the fight. Otherwise, it's not going to end up mattering.
All right, your next question.
And actually, you answered the next question, which was going to be about battle between the 6 Rangers. In terms of leadership, which of your sides has the best leader?
Shinkenger.
And
he won't even argue this one because again, he has been told that he is a lord since he was a child. So he has studied, trained, practiced. Your team wasn't really supposed to be the Hurricangers. I would like to point that out. Your main team was not supposed to be the Hurricangers.
It's just the fact that everybody else got attacked first.
Thank you. They were not the best options.
But
These were.
just like B Squad,
They
end up being
That's
the best
SPD.
option.
That's because in SPD, B Squad became the Power Rangers and A Squad became evil, and you can't be better. So, that's just right.
well,
Next question.
let's stay on topic, even
Next
though
question.
SPD is awesome. All right, so we have that. Now, in terms of yours, the female Red Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
How strong is she, and would she be a deciding factor in a fight? Because, as you said earlier, the other Rangers don't really know how to work well with her. So if the main Red,
If the main Red is in charge,
if he was down, would they be? As
they didn't. They worked with her. They just did not work as well with her, is what I said, compared to Shin Takaru, because they had time to develop getting to know how he is as a leader, where they kind of had to start from square one with her. If Red goes down and she has to take over, they will do what she says. They know that she is they respect her just as well. They know, I'm pretty sure, she's a better swordsman than normal Red. To the point where she took on Joe in Gokaiger. I believe that's what his name, Gokai Blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And so she earned his respect, and he's one of the best damn swordsmen in the universe.
Now, let's talk about one thing that we didn't really talk about. At the beginning of this fight, because it will end up coming down to that transformation.
it will.
The fact that the Shinkengers have to write theirs out, and the fact that the Shurikengers all they have to do is spin it.
They all have to do is spin it, but if I would also remind you that they also have their own choreography that they go through. And that's the Hurricangers.
Did I say Shurikengers? Goddamn.
Yeah.
Hurricanger doesn't really morph unless you want to talk about the child version, which I'd be more than happy to talk about how Hurricanger...
He does morph. He morphs in all of his forms. And anytime he ends up showing up as another person, he always ends up bringing out the ball and then...
I thought the ball was only with the 10-year cinema because the ball wasn't a thing until Ninja Storm. Because I'm pretty sure that's what you told me, was that it wasn't a thing until Ninja Storm.
Keep talking.
He needs to look up his research, and that's
He
fine.
needs to look up his contradicting... Anyway, where was I?
How they would work with her being in charge of the others.
And because she proved her worth as a leader when she was, it's just that it's not that they trusted him more, they liked him because they knew that they were friends.
Nope. Yeah. It's usable. It was usable throughout the entire show.
You lied to me then. Moving on.
Oops. Yeah.
I would like to have him disqualified.
No, because unfortunately, this court does not
Fair enough.
acknowledge dumbassery as a legitimate
It's
form
true.
of
We would all be
discount.
fired at this point.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But I think that's really all we can argue on these, unless you have more questions.
Alright. Let's see.
Speed is going to end up being the deciding factor for this, just like it was last time. And the Shuriken... I keep wanting to say Shurikengers. I know that's wrong. The Hurricangers have that.
No,
in
Hurricanger
balance.
has that.
No, they all do.
They have, not to his degree, but with the speed that they have, Shinkenger can match them. They don't have running speed, but they have reaction speed.
Actually, there is one more question I do have. Now, considering this is a Sentai, and there is a level of silliness in all good Sentais, a small one, yours more, but...
Yeah. Giant ears.
I'm glad you knew where I was going with that. High five on us being friends.
Hurricane blue.
Yeah.
AKA
We
the
need-
best.
We need... Considering the silly attacks, which one would be thrown off more by the silliest attack your team has?
Well, the thing is, with Hurricanger, their attacks aren't the silly things. It's the enhancement stuff, like the ears and the... I would also like to point out, if you want to really do this, if you really want to point out how long it's going to take my team to set up, how long your team takes to do their roll call.
If they do it. I mean, come on now.
We're
Because
gonna-
the Shurikengers
To
are
be
gonna-
fair, if this is a full Sentai team, let's be real, they're doing the roll call.
They are doing it. They are
Yours
going
going
to
to
do
take
it.
a lot longer.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
They
You
can-
gotta have the setup.
The setup is before the morph.
Is
I'm
it
talking
though?
about yes, because
Yes,
I'm talking
it is
about the roll
before.
call. Everything else is Shin Takaru,
You try.
Shuriken Neddo. And then they just say their name and their title. I have
Shikaru.
this poem I'm going to read off while I'm holding an umbrella.
Haiku.
No, it's too long for a haiku.
Is it though?
Yes.
Damn it! I was hoping you wouldn't know literary terms.
Now,
So the Shinkengers are going to be done, and y'all are reading poetry. Now Blue will definitely respect you guys for your kabuki. He'll definitely do that.
He'll stand back and
He'll be like,
yeah.
now let's go kick their ass. But I think that's all we got.
All right. After a long deliberation, I will have to go in favor of Samurai
damn it.
Yes! I did not expect that, actually. Please
Mostly-
tell us why.
Mostly because, in terms of training, they've been doing it their whole lives and they will continue doing it afterward. Now, in terms of probably best development and who is actually, in my opinion, the better team, it is actually yours because they actually had to come together, while yours, they were together forever, so they didn't have to overcome as much.
Fair enough. But I
So-
still win.
In a straight up fight, yes, but in straight up character development and story, I
will secede to that.
Damn it! Now we gotta figure
You
out
have the better Sentai show.
you have the better show.
and better Power Ranger adaptation.
Yeah.
Yes, and the better Power
No
Ranger
one's arguing that.
And the better Power Ranger adaptation, but the strongest group would.
Yay.
Strongest fighters.
Hey.
Now, in terms of.
I thought I was boned. I'm not going to lie.
Now we just gotta figure out what we gotta do next time.
Please let us know what you guys want us to do in the comments.
Maybe an Ultraman versus another one.
Or a
Oh,
Sentai
yeah.
mech versus a Sentai mech.
Or another Kamen Rider versus a Kamen Rider.
Please
This
let
time
us
we're
know.
not going to pick two that are way too different from their own good.
Anyway, please let us know if you agree with the
wait.
decision.
Uh-huh.
You know who we should do next time.
Oh, please do tell.
We should do Kuga versus O's.
I don't want to lose, because I have to argue for O's. O's is my favorite. I don't want to lose, though. We'll think about it. But let us know what you think of the verdict, if you agree or disagree, and who we should pin up against each other next. And as always, thank you for joining TokuCast. Please follow her at her channel. We will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Jenny! Alright.
Oh, I'm stuck.